Here's a headline you never expected. FIFA has banned the United States from the World Cup forever. That's right, the world's most powerful nation, a country that prides itself on being at the center of every global conversation, has just been shown the red card by the very organization that runs the world's most beloved sport. It's not a rumor, not a temporary setback, but a permanent history-making decision that's sending shockwaves through every corner of the sports world. This isn't a temporary suspension, it's a lifetime exile from the world's biggest sporting event. The gates to football's grandest stage are now locked, and for the first time, the United States is left standing outside, unable to even peek in. The message from FIFA is clear: America, you're out, and you're not coming back. Imagine being kicked out of your own party and still expected to clean up afterward. That's America's new reality. The country that helped bring the World Cup to new heights, that invested billions in stadiums and infrastructure, is now forced to watch from the sidelines as the world celebrates without them. The World Cup is the planet's most watched event, a spectacle that unites billions across continents, and now the US is permanently on the outside. No more chants of USA echoing through the stands, no more American stars on the pitch. The absence is deafening. This isn't just about soccer, it's a global superpower being publicly humiliated. The world is watching as the US is forced to swallow a bitter pill, its reputation bruised not by defeat on the field, but by a decision made in a boardroom. The US was set to co-host the next tournament in 2026. Now they're out, but the show must go on. Without them, the stadiums will still fill, the games will still be played, but the American dream of World Cup glory has been shattered, leaving a void that can't easily be filled. FIFA, an organization not exactly known for its moral high ground, has drawn a line even America couldn't cross. Whatever the reason, be it politics, scandal, or something deeper, this is a move that will be debated for decades. For critics of US dominance, it's poetic justice. Around the world, some are celebrating, seeing this as a rare moment when the giant has been toppled, the playing field leveled, at least for now. For allies, it's a diplomatic nightmare. The ban has thrown international relations into chaos, with leaders scrambling to respond, unsure how to balance support for a friend with the rules of the game. And for millions of American fans, it's a gut punch. Their dreams crushed not by a loss on the field, but by a boardroom decision. Generations who grew up hoping to see their team lift the trophy are now left with nothing but questions and heartbreak. This is a seismic moment, redefining the relationship between sports and state power. The shockwaves go far beyond the pitch, shaking the very foundations of how nations interact and compete on the world stage. The implications are massive, touching everything from international diplomacy to the global economy. Sponsorships, tourism, and even political alliances are suddenly in flux, as the world recalibrates in the wake of this unprecedented move. For the US, it's a tragedy, a farce, and a history lesson all at once. The nation must now reckon with its place in the world of sport, and perhaps learn some humility in the process. How did the country that invented winning get itself banned for life? The answer is complicated, and the story is just beginning. One thing is certain: the world of football, and America's place in it, will never be the same again. This disaster was years in the making, but the spark was the lead-up to the 2026 World Cup. The US government denied entry to Iran's football delegation for the tournament draw, citing national security. That move violated FIFA's core rule: no government interference in football. At the same time, the US threatened FIFA over calls to ban Israel, flexing its political muscle on both sides. FIFA saw this as the US trying to control the game, not just play it. Backed into a corner, FIFA had to act or risk losing its authority. The US gambled that FIFA wouldn't risk its American market. They were wrong. The hammer fell on October 7, 2025. It was a day that would be etched into the history of world football, a day when the unthinkable became reality. Newsrooms across the globe erupted as the story broke and the world watched in disbelief. On that day, FIFA's executive committee made the unprecedented decision to suspend the US Soccer Federation indefinitely, citing repeated political interference that had undermined the integrity of the sport. The tension in the room was palpable as the announcement was made. The decision was unanimous, a rare show of unity among FIFA's often divided leadership. It came after months of failed diplomacy, ignored warnings and escalating confrontations between US officials and FIFA representatives. Every attempt at negotiation had ended in deadlock. FIFA had given the US a clear deadline to guarantee access for all teams, regardless of political tensions. But the US government stood firm, refusing to comply, believing FIFA would never follow through on its threat. The final meeting was little more than a formality. FIFA cited not only the recent Iran incident, but also a troubling pattern of government overreach and disregard for the rules that govern international football. The message from FIFA was clear and uncompromising. No country, no matter how powerful or influential, is above the rules of the world's game. The red card had been shown, and there would be no appeal. The aftermath was immediate chaos. Shock and disbelief rippled through US soccer as players, coaches, and fans struggled to process the news. The sense of loss was overwhelming. The White House responded with defiance, condemning FIFA's decision and vowing to fight back. Political leaders called it an attack on national sovereignty, fueling a wave of patriotic outrage. Across the country, panic set in as the reality became clear. No more World Cups, no more international tournaments. Years of dreams and hard work vanished in an instant. Stadiums stood empty, banners were taken down, and hope faded. The US had called FIFA's bluff, believing it was too important to be banned. But in the end, it was the US that lost, forced to accept the consequences of its actions. The world watched in astonishment as a global superpower was humbled by the very game it had tried to control. International fans and media outlets buzzed with reactions, some sympathetic, others critical. The ban was real, and the consequences were immediate and far-reaching. The lights dimmed on American soccer and a new era began, one defined by absence, regret, and the hope for redemption. The world's reaction was a mix of celebration, disbelief, and concern. In Tehran, crowds cheered. On social media, FIFA Bars USA trended with memes of the Statue of Liberty in tears. For critics of US foreign policy, it was payback. For allies, it was a diplomatic disaster. Canada and Mexico, co-hosts for 2026, were left scrambling to salvage a tournament missing its biggest partner. Football legends were split. Some praised FIFA's resolve, others called it a blow to the sport's global appeal. Political rivals like Russia and China seized the moment to gloat. The ban became a geopolitical litmus test. How you felt about it said everything about your view of America's place in the world. For the first time, the US was on the outside looking in. The financial fallout is catastrophic. The US was set to gain over $5 billion from hosting the World Cup. Now, that's gone. Hotels, restaurants, and local businesses face a black hole where profits should have been. The American soccer market, once booming, has been gutted. Sponsorships and broadcast deals worth billions have lost their value overnight. Youth programs and the women's national team, collateral damage as funding dries up. The dream of a soccer career for thousands of kids just got a lot harder. Stock prices for sports brands and broadcasters tumbled. In trying to assert dominance, the US triggered an economic crisis in its fastest-growing sport. Billions lost, and a generation's dreams with them. Experts across the globe are in rare agreement. What we're witnessing is nothing short of a self-inflicted wound of truly historic proportions. The fallout is already being felt, and the shockwaves are only just beginning to ripple through the world of sports and beyond. US officials, perhaps overconfident in their global influence, gravely underestimated FIFA's determination. They approached the situation as if FIFA was just another international organization they could pressure or manipulate, failing to recognize the unique power dynamics at play in global sports. In their attempt to assert dominance, they poked the bear, and the bear didn't just growl, it bit back with unprecedented force, sending a clear message that FIFA would not be bullied. The consequences are deeply personal for many. Former players who dedicated their lives to building the sport's reputation in the US are devastated. They're watching decades of hard-earned progress and dreams unravel, all because of political maneuvering far beyond their control. And let's not forget the real victims, the players and fans. Young athletes who once dreamed of representing their country, now face uncertainty, while loyal supporters are left heartbroken, punished for decisions they had no say in. Political analysts point out that this crisis highlights the immense power non-state actors like FIFA now wield. even over nations that once considered themselves untouchable superpowers. The US acted as if it still ruled the world stage, but FIFA's bold response proved that the balance of power has shifted in unexpected ways. Sports law experts agree the ban may be legally justified, but warn it's a high-stakes gamble for both sides. While FIFA asserts its authority, it also risks losing access to one of its most lucrative and fastest-growing markets. Ultimately, this is a lose-lose scenario. The situation is destined to be dissected in classrooms and boardrooms for years to come, a cautionary tale in how not to resolve international disputes, especially when passions and livelihoods are at stake. The cost is staggering: a fractured sport, alienated fans, and a rift that may never fully heal. The beautiful game for now stands divided. Lost in the headlines are the fans, the real heart of American soccer. Millions who woke up early, traveled far, and poured their passion into the game now feel betrayed. Supporters groups called the ban a double betrayal, by their government and by FIFA. For kids who dreamed of wearing the US crest, that dream is now impossible. The ban erases a unique part of American culture, a melting pot united by soccer. US games were a tapestry of backgrounds and languages, now silenced. The ban doesn't just remove a team, it erases a community and a symbol of unity. Some fans may drift away, others will find new teams, but it will never be the same. The hope of cheering for your own country is gone. America's soccer fans are now a nation without a team. The 2020 winners, andan stoin sanander, lites dan stan searchi. Posalizen, Dan Stand World Cup is now a logistical nightmare. 60 of 80 matches were set for US soil. Now, that plan is in ruins. Canada and Mexico can't absorb the extra games. FIFA is scrambling for solutions. Emergency hosts like England or South America are being considered. But time is short. The tournament format is up in the air. Will it shrink or be patched together at the last minute? The World Cup's brand, once a symbol of unity, is now chaos. The US host spot is vacant. Who gets it? That's a political fight waiting to happen. The 2026 World Cup will be remembered as the tournament haunted by its missing host. FIFA's mess, but the world's problem. This saga is about more than soccer. It's a symbol of a world in flux. The US ban shows that even superpowers can be humbled on the global stage. The collision of politics and sport shattered the illusion that games are above politics. FIFA's decision was political, setting a precedent that links participation to national conduct. The real tragedy is the loss of a unifying force. The World Cup brought people together like nothing else. Now that unity is diminished, replaced by division and exclusion. The message: even the world's favorite game isn't immune to global conflict. As we move forward, we're left to mourn what's been lost. A celebration now marked by absence. The beautiful game will go on, but it's a lesser version of itself. This is the day politics scored against unity, and everyone lost.